Welcome to processing PD requests, quality scholars requests for PD through the QI planning tool, the quality improvement planning tool, the QIP. We will be covering just requests for quality scholars to cover PD training hours today. Quality scholars requests for credit bearing coursework will be covered in a separate video because that is a slightly different interface, a little bit different process, quite different process. All ends up in the same place, but different process. So let's get started with quality scholars requests for PD hours. First, I'm going to search for my test program. I'm working in the live QIP. What you see is live right now, but I'm going to work on my test center. Just like for a purchase request, I'm going to go to my goals list. You've probably added some PD tasks before, but now they have some additional capabilities. I'm in QIS mode, so everything should look familiar. And here we go. I've got an existing one with my additional details row down here that you can see, but I'm going to start from scratch so we can go through this together. My task doesn't have to be the exact name of the training. There will be another place I will put that in, but just as a reminder, I'm going to say the blocks training for all staff. I'm going to attach this to a standard real quick. The date of the actual PD is what I put in here. The manager on this task is very important, more important than on other tasks, because here, this will determine what director information is actually sent to SUNY PDP as part of the request, who they can reach out to with additional information. So this cannot be left blank, and important you put in the director. Your information as a quality improvement specialist will be added regardless. That's just part of the case information, but you must select the director's information, whose name you want to be included in the request. And here we'll just say this should help. I'm going to save my task. My goal is updated and my task has appeared. I don't have event details or PD details that I can view just yet because I haven't added them, but it does telling me that it's required for quality scholars requests. I've got some information here that I can read through for reminders, but for now I'm just going to add my PD details. That's the next step towards submitting my request. Takes me to a new interface. This has generated a PD request for me. There's an event now in the background that I'm going to be fleshing out and adding attendees to. Here it tells me I need to complete the form and submit. It gives me a little warning that once I've submitted, it will go to SUNY PDP. It's both added to a report that PDP can come and pick up from us nightly, and also an email is sent to both SUNY PDP and you as a quality improvement specialist as a confirmation of that submission. You cannot change a submission once it's made. You will have to deal with PDP directly about making small updates. If there are large updates, it's possible you might have to resubmit a new request. So first things first, we need to select our PD type, which determines what's in the rest of the form. So let me select my PD type. And there's a range of options here. Some of them are just here to warn you this isn't the way we do things anymore, or this isn't, these requests aren't, quality scholars dollars are not used for those. That includes credit bearing course, which tells you we'll be doing that another way. If there's also some additional options, if you're doing PD hours toward a credential, a non-credit bearing credential, so not a credit bearing CDA or CPAC, but if you're doing a credential, here you have your credentials off the list there. But we will just be going with training PD workshop or conference from here. And we will save this. And it takes me down, shows me my PD type has been selected. And now I can put in my PD details. I need my title, dates, and everything. So let me pop open and edit this section. Here's my title. The official title is The Blocks Experience. Not my first take at this video. The Aspire event ID. This comes from the statewide training calendar. I'm going to put in a fake one, but this is the event ID, not the course ID. This is the event ID that you get from the statewide training calendar. This event is going to start on the 31st. Will also end on the 31st. This is a one-day event that I happen to be putting in here. It is an in-person as opposed to distance learning. These are SUNY PDP categories. These may be updated in the new year, but for now, classroom in person, training hours for, and the Quality Scholars dollars that I'm requesting. This is the same amount you'd put in your scholars form. It's a lump sum. It's the total that you're asking for to cover this PD for all your attendees. So $200. Now, for our records, we have a section here that is not sent to SUNY PDP, but gives a breakdown of the price. If it is a per attendee or the lump sum cost is for some reason different from the Quality Scholars amount that you're asking for, you can put that in down here. So I'm putting in per attendee, this is $50. I'm bringing 4 people, it adds up. But again, this is the only number that is sent to PDP. So now I've got my PD details, I've got my training provider details here, or my PD details there. Next, I'm doing my training and PD provider, my training or PD provider details. Let me pop this open. I must select an approved training org off the list. This is a list we get from SUNY PDP. These are the vendors who are approved and have an agreement with PDP to accept Quality Scholars dollars. And so I could pick any of these. I'm going to select one of my tests here, my test vendors in there, and we need to add the trainer information. Only the first trainer information is sent to PDP. Secondary trainer is optional to put in for our own records. This is the only information that is sent to PDP. Now we come down to the fiscal contact information. Who have you been working with to arrange this? For some organizations, there will be contact on file already. PDP is working on getting us some more of that. If you don't have contact information here, or you're working with somebody else besides the person on file, you can put their information in here so that you know who you're working with and how to contact them about this request. This is also not sent to PDP at this time, but they may ask for this if they need to find out who you've been talking to and arrange something. Now you can see if I pick a different vendor that doesn't have, pick a different training organization that doesn't have information, it's going to prompt me to add my fiscal contact because there is none on file currently. But if I'm just working with the person who's on file, I can leave this blank. Save that. My training PD provider information has all been saved successfully. I didn't put in a co-trainer, so that's empty. I'm just using the contact on file. Otherwise, we would see the contact on file and my filled out contact, but we've got our training PD provider information. Next, we'll move on to selecting my attendees. We simply add attendees and we get my full staff list. I'm bringing everybody, got a small staff. We like to stick together. And I'll save an update. And then I see my staff list on here. Everybody's coming. I can remove anybody I need to from here. So if I remove test teacher here, here we go. Now we can see I only have 3, but I can always add that person back if I realize I really did want them to come. Okay, as long as I haven't submitted yet, I can make those changes. I've got my attendees here. Now, application upload. For the time being, we are still uploading the PDF of the scholar's request. So you would upload this so that it can both live with this request and also so that it can be sent as an attachment. It's not actually sent as an attachment. We just send the link to the document. I'll show you that. Here we go. I'm just going to browse for any old PDF. I don't have an application ready to go here. Save this. And here now I can view my uploaded application. Pop that open, it pops open in a new tab. There's my PDF, just as I expected to see it. Okay. Next section is my notes. These notes are just for me. These do not go to SUNY PDP or anyone else. These are just for you. Remember, staff need to bring a photo of themselves to the training. Anything or anything about the payment, any notes, you can add them there. And these you can change even after you submitted. So I think I'm ready to go. I think I've done all the sections. I go back through and review. Everything looks good. but I can preview my submission because it is warning me submitted requests cannot be edited. So we can't send an update to PDP. You will have to reach out to them directly to deal with changes. So let me just preview this and make sure I've got everything right. Again, it lets me know what I see below, that there are some strange values, but they should be decoded. There are some tips for me. But this is showing me the exact data that will be sent to PDP. These are the fields they asked for. These are the values they asked for. Here's a little decoding for you. I've got, this is the ID of the actual request. That's our internal ID, just like a purchase request number. That is our internal QIP number, but that is being sent to PDP, so they can reference that. Application year, program name, most of this stuff is automatically pulled. Here's the director I selected, so they know who they're reaching out to deal with this request. We've got our program information automatically pulled. QUALITYscholars ID, your QIS information is automatically pulled. The training, this is going to be a numeric ID that comes from PDP, so they can recognize which training organization it is. I've got the trainer name as I entered there, the course title, course hours. Here's a course type ID. They're asking for a numeric value, but it is decoded over here, so you can double check that it looks right. Course cost, start and end date in a computer-friendly format, year, month, day. Is asynchronous? No, because I selected that this was in person, not distance learning. Number of attendees, 4. Now, because I have multiple attendees, there will not be a name here. Only if I have one attendee as a name here. Putting in the attendee names is really for credit bearing mostly, but the name will automatically appear here if you've only selected one attendee. So my preview is looking good. A confirmation, once I submit, a confirmation will be sent to PDP with a few lines of information about the request. You will also get that same confirmation as long as your email is correct. And this shows you what email address the confirmation will be sent to you. If this is blank or wrong, reach out to me. I can change that on your staff record. And finally, I can just review that I have my uploaded application. In this confirmation email will be a link to the uploaded application that PDP can review to make sure everything came across in the data transfer correctly, and see that there and process from that if they need to. So I can check again, this opens in a new tab. Yes, that's the upload I expected to see. So I'm going to close my preview and I'm going to submit. I have one final warning about what happens when I submit. Yes, I'm ready. Wait for that to process, and I get the green box, so my PD request has been submitted successfully. So now some things have changed. I get this green box, it gives me my request number. Again, this lets me know that this has already been submitted. I can look back over everything, but I cannot make changes at this point. I can even look at my uploaded application, but I cannot change it. Everything's locked in because this request has been sent, except notes. Those can be edited whenever you want. I can preview my submission again to see what was sent to PDP in case they call you and ask you about something. You've got here the details, and you've got your request number if you need to follow up on it. So as promised, let's take a look for that confirmation. Here it is. Our QUALITYscholars request has been submitted. Here's the request ID, QI specialist name, the site name, the PD title, and the PD date, just enough information to distinguish it. And then the link, again, this is sent to PDP, the link to your paper application as expected. And there we go. My confirmation email came through. That same email will be sent to PDP. The other place that I can look and see this is in the PD requests. So this is a list of the QUALITYscholars requests. And here we have 7681, my PD. And it tells me when it was submitted, tells me the program, QIS who submitted it, PD provider, and I can jump in and take a look at this request details anytime. And that is PD requests. We will go over credit bearing requests in another video. Hope this made everything clear, and talk to you soon.